81 Power Drink. Proud sponsors of Glasgow Rangers Football Club. We are not just an energy drink, we are lifestyle. Take the power. '81 Power Drink. Take the power.
Good evening and welcome to your Bars for Gers podcast. It's Wednesday evening with myself, Lindsay Glenn, and host Stan Gordon, featuring Rangers bars from all around the world. Sponsored by 81 Power Drink, the official energy drink partner of Glasgow Rangers Football Club. Rangers without doubt taking power on the pitch with 2p from each can going towards our veterans. Don't forget to check out their website with the link on the screen and use our discount code BARSFORGERS to get 10% off. Also, we have our associate sponsors of the show. Check out their social media pages. We have Staunch Threads, Teddy Bear Pins, Pink Gorilla Wall Art, and Off to the Match I Go. Remember, if you're on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe to our show. Or if you're on any other platform, remember to like, comment, and share. So let's welcome on all of our guests onto the show this evening. We have John from the Flower of Scotland in Forteventura. Are you there, John? Hello. Hi, John, how are you doing?
I'm not bad.
We also have Jamie from Wirral Rangers Supporters Club. How are you doing, Jamie?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
And
Jamie.
we have Gordon as well from Surrey True Blues Rangers Supporters Club. Hi, Gordon, how are you doing?
Good evening, how are we doing?
All right. Also joining us, we have a very special guest this evening. We have ex-9-in-a-row Ranger, Charlie Miller, joining us. How are you doing, Charlie?
I'm good, thank you. How's
Nice.
everyone all right, guys?
Nice to see you all. Nice to have you all on the show, guys. We'll get carried on then. So I'm going to come to John first in Forteventura. How's things there? Can you tell us a wee bit if things are opening up a wee bit there now, John? What's happening where you are?
We're still waiting on the green list, hopefully coming in 7th of June, maybe. So I hope to open maybe the middle of June to the end of June. Hopefully I get a couple of Scotland games out of it, if they last that long. I've not been open since the 15th of May last year. So I've been shut the whole time. So it's not been great, obviously, but it is what it is.
Do you have you got any holiday makers earlier at the moment, John, or is it just completely dead? Are there any flights coming in or anything?
It's more or less dead. Since this Monday, they've started to let people in, but because we're still in the amber list, there's nobody here. It's dead. But we're hoping the 7th of June it'll go to the green list, and maybe by the end of June we'll get a few more in. But I think it's going to be quiet. I think it's going to take time to pick up. I would imagine come September, we should start seeing more people then, hopefully.
What's the cases like there at the moment with COVID? Because you're on an island there. There can't be much cases on Forteventura, really, are they?
Very
John,
low.
this is Nicola Sturgeon asking you hundreds of questions.
We've been low the whole time, more or less. There's a few boats immigrants that came in over the last few months, and they've brought it in with them. But apart from that, there's been very little, to be honest. I've just had my jab today, actually.
What about getting onto the mainland and into Lanzarote? Because you're only 20 minutes for there, aren't you? Is that the same?
I mean, Kenny, I'm good friends with Kenny. It has the Bluebells. I go over there quite a lot when I've been shut for last year to give them a wee bit of support. So we've got a Rangers club that runs out of the pub as well. So we've all tried to go over there for the Celtic games, and I went over to the last game of the season there the other week. We had a good weekend in his group. Me and him's much the same. He's open, obviously. I'm not. I'm in a shopping centre, and my landlord he won't let anybody inside the shopping centre open because it's too quiet, and he thinks we all went bankrupt in the last year.
Aye. I know. Talking to one of the boys, your friend and my friend John Leach, he was saying a lot of the landlords for some of the bars have just walked away and left everything.
There's a few that's lost everything over here. Not that many, as far as I know, but it's hard to tell. Just I would say 70% of the place is still closed, and there's only 30% open at the most. But there is a few that's gone since it's all started.
No, it's not the best.
It's not great, is it?
My landlord's been all right with me. He's not charged me any rent since I've been shut. So I've probably been one of the lucky ones that I've been better off being shut.
Yeah,
that's a holiday maker, so it's a waste of time.
Yep. Oh, that's not great, is it?
No.
I'm going to move on to Charlie, just our special guest this evening. Right, Charlie, just a wee question for you. How are you doing? How's this last year been for yourself and your family through COVID and everything that's been going on in the world?
Yeah, we're fine. Just as demented as everyone else. Fortunately, we've not lost anyone close to us. That's the only good thing, I suppose, because a lot of people out there lost people, which is unfortunate and sad times, obviously. So we're getting by. Just, I think it's time for everything to open now. I think everybody's past it now, so obviously we have to stay safe. That's the main thing. But
of course,
yeah, we're getting by. So my coaching's still going as well because I'm under 12, so we've been able to still train, which has been good. And the league started back 2 or 3 weeks ago, so we're getting there.
That's keeping you busy and stuff as well. Then
very busy. So, but it's great. So seeing the kids run about again instead of getting
on
the computers.
Yep. Back out, running about, doing the exercise.
Definitely need it.
Lindsay will tell you he's got the patience of a saint. Haven't done to watch him a couple of times. I took my grandson DJ down and to his academy, and he tried to control the kids. I just couldn't do it. He's, John, sit down. Robert, stop looking at your family and just constantly checking them and keep them in. And I went, I couldn't.
It must take a lot of patience.
To be fair, you get used to it. The kids, it's the wee babies that are the hardest ones for the first few months. Once they come in to realise that they're there to train and play football, that they love it. So it's just putting a wee bit of authority down to them at a very young age, and they understand that they're there to train and work hard and try and become better wee footballers.
That's good.
That's the idea.
How do they get involved with your academy? How does that work?
Well, we usually just turn up, or we've got a Facebook page, a Twitter page.
Right, okay.
We just follows through that or asked to join through that, but we've actually got a waiting list just now because of the pandemic, so we're not allowed a certain amount of players on the pitch. So we've got all our teams mostly, and we've got a few new ones that have come in, but we've got a waiting list, so obviously we'd maybe have to try and get another night for them and see how we can take it for there. But obviously at the moment we've not got any extra lets or anything like that, so it's difficult. But obviously we might lose some good kids out of that as well, unfortunately. But there's nothing we can do at the moment. It's a bit of a nightmare, obviously. But we're only allowed like 22 players on 1-7-a-side pitch, which isn't ideal, but it gets the ones out and about just now.
Before lockdown there, but do you think that kind of age groups and that were thriving in Scotland again, because it fell away a wee bit? But academies like yourself, and then you've got Hamilton and Burnbank, Blantyre, Cambuslang, have all got kind of youth setups now. Do you think it was doing quite well there, Charlie?
Well, it was. I think we'll lose a lot of players through the pandemic. I think a lot of players, not just young boys, but a lot of older ones as well, because they might have gained weight or whatever, and they might have just lost interest, which is a shame. But there's not much we can do about it. It's just disappointing. But I'm sure we'll get back to where we were, and the kids will improve again. They'll get fitter again, and as I say, once everything gets back to normal, it'll be fine. So
as things start opening up in that as well, do you know what I mean? People start getting into get back to normal kind of life, because now it's like that for everybody. Everybody's feeling stuck in and not knowing what they're allowed to do.
Yeah, that's a difficult.
You know who they're allowed to be with and how many's in a bubble. It's hard.
It's madness. But I suppose I'll just try to keep everyone safe. Maybe I've not lost anyone, so the ones who have lost people, then it's a tragedy for them, and it's sad times for them, obviously. But we just need to get everything open again and that, and get everybody back to life.
Well, on a positive note, did you have a good day, trophy day Did you
I
get
did,
have
I
a wee
was-
beer? Did you?
Oh, I had a few beers, don't worry about that. But I was quiet. I just went down to my mates and watched the game, and a few beers. I wasn't getting out of town. It was looked a bit mayhem. Unfortunately, some of the aftermath wasn't looking great. But obviously, the fans were going to celebrate. It's been a long time coming, so I don't blame them. But I think some have to behave a wee bit. But that's because it's obviously Rangers' good name that they're.
I know.
they're hurting.
But again, thinking on young folk as well. They've been in this, something actually felt a wee bit normal to them for that day, and it just went out of hand, didn't it?
Yeah, of course. It's sad that they end up like that, but it's a lot of different groups coming from different areas that once they get one too many beer, that they start growling at each other.
I know.
They don't like each other, and that's a difficult situation.
Definitely. I think it'd have happened no matter who it was. I'm not just saying that, but if Celtic would have got 10 in a row, it's a certainty they'd have been at Georgie Square and they'd have been saying
100%.
that. It was just
100%.
it was alcohol fueled with everybody. And you say we was waiting 9 years or whatever it was to win the league again. It was. I mean, I stayed in my own pub and sat outside all day, even it was cold. But just the fact that it was relief.
It was just a relief, wasn't it? That was the main thing. It was just a relief to get over the line and
That's
get
it.
that trophy back where it belongs and see some happy fans. Because I've got some kids at my academy. I've got mixed kids actually who they support, but some kids at mine at 9 and 10-year-old had never seen Rangers win the league. So
Aye.
it was.
Definitely.
It was good for my son being 17. Like, he really thoroughly enjoyed seeing that because he's seen so many failures over the last.
Yeah.
Like he was going to like Stranraer.
Yeah.
And watching it, watching games at Stranraer when we were down at the caravan and stuff, and then for it build back up again to him seeing that, I wasn't going to stop him figuring in and seeing what was happening. But he's a good laddie, so he behaved himself.
I mean, well, you get back to when we won 9 in a row and Charlie Cross for Brian Laudrup to score. When I remember my boy and at the time saying to me, "Dad, what happened there?" Because he'd never seen Rangers no one in the league.
He's not the brightest.
Aye.
Hope you're listening, Richard. But I have to take your hat off to Stevie G and the boys. The boys have been magic. Obviously, Gary Mack and the backroom staff. Great season. Obviously undefeated. Disappointing the cup. Though it's at the heart. That was.
I know.
A wee
I think they know what they need to work on. For that.
Nobody will know this, well, apart from his friends and myself, but Lindsay, but Charlie got a phone call for the dressing room.
I did.
Right.
He did, and Al McGregor and all the boys come on to him. It was Barry Scott, the director come on, and he's doing a bit of shouting. This is a real legend. Speak to him.
Oh,
And he's-
really?
And he's
The boys are like, who's this old fat guy? I'm just glad Griggsy remembered me. I could never put the ball past him either. So it was good to see him celebrating. I think it was after the St Mirren game, so it was good to be taking part of that. It was good to see him, and it was a lot of relief off the boys who have been there before and done it, like Sir Griggsy and wee Stevie Davis and all that. So
I think they kept him going, Charlie. I think it was guys like that pushed him out of the line, saying to him, "Come on,
Well, you've seen Griggsy's saves, and that's what he's there for. He's a goalie, but he's an unbelievable goalkeeper, and he's done well for us. It's all about concentration, because sometimes they're not getting a shot at them, and then bang, might get 1 or 2 shots in the 90 minutes and produce some stunning saves. It used to be like the goalie. The goalie was brilliant as well, the same.
Aye.
So
I'm going to put you on the spot here, just when you say the goal
you'll
there,
know.
and I know he's your
no.
pal. He was in my booze on Friday, and he kind of took the huff a wee bit. He'll be watching tonight. He'll come up there, but a couple of guys were debating, saying maybe McGregor was better than the goalie. It's a hard one to pick, Charlie.
Well, I've played with Griggs as well. He was a kid at Rangers when I was there, and I know him well. He's an outstanding goalkeeper. But I just edge the goalie. I think the goalie's been a phenomenal goalkeeper.
I agree with you, by the way.
For all the years at Rangers, and outstanding. But Griggs is outstanding as well. But I played with the goalie more, so I'm going to obviously say the goalie. But people like Chris Boyd will go Griggsy because he played with Griggsy. That's what happened. That's what these things happen. But
Yeah.
the flying pig was unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
Right, I'm going to go to Wirral Rangers now. Are you there? Is it Jamie? Are you there, Jamie?
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Good evening, all. You okay?
Great, thank you. Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for coming on. So, can you just how's your club doing down south? How are you getting on?
I still haven't got the smile on my face since the title day.
Oh,
So yeah, in terms of
the
our
smile.
club, it's we're doing okay. We're taking over. We're taking over okay. As I say, we've got a room as part of the social club down where we are. So we're in a fortunate position in that the Rangers club hasn't been impacted because we're within a room. So from everything down here, it's all good really. So as I say, just still on a high. I think it's been all season. I think we've been on a high as great as we've been. The demise of them has also brought a smile to everyone's face as well. So no, we're all good.
That's good. So, is there a good connection between your Rangers club and Liverpool Football Club?
I hope no.
Not really, no. We have got fans naturally, given the catchment area that we're in. We've got fans of Rangers and Everton, Liverpool, Tranmere, the odd Man United fan. But predominantly, I would say everyone who comes to and supports our supporters club is Rangers first, which is great. Mm-hmm. So we've probably got about, I think this season we finished up on about 75 members. Probably within that, probably looking at about 15 season ticket holders. So we very much just look to provide a facility where Rangers fans can come together and watch the games. We have our social nights, sportsmen's dues, which I've been in touch with Stan about arranging, and different bits and bobs. So yeah, we were taking over quite well, to be honest. So just looking forward to the start of the season and planning our end of season do. So as I say, looking for Stan to work some magic in terms of getting somebody over for us. We had Mark Walters last year. He was an absolute gentleman. And Clint Hill's local to us as well. So Clint Hill lives a couple of miles from the club. So we're looking to try and work with him to try and get a night over the next few weeks. So yeah, no, we're all good.
Excellent. That's fantastic. Because that was one of the questions that we had wrote down. Just Stephen Gerrard, what do you think of him at Rangers?
Well, when he first came,
smile.
I wasn't 100% sure. I think like everyone, I think with all the nonsense that we've been through for the previous couple of years, I very much felt at the time as if we needed a bit of stability and someone just to get a grip of things. And was this rookie manager who was a great player going to be the guy to lead us forward? But after hearing that first press conference, I think the hair on the back of everyone's neck stood up when everybody heard that. And I think instantly everything just seemed to click slowly but surely. And then everything just led back to obviously lifting the title last week. So I think, as I say, my family's very much split between Rangers, Everton, and my wife's family's Liverpool. So again, when Gerrard came in, I took quite a bit of grief. The fact that I now want him to do well for obvious reasons. So, but yeah, no, I think it's just another exciting season, isn't it, for us all? So something to look forward to, and hopefully just go from strength to strength, try and get into that Champions League and take the next step, really.
Are there many Rangers supporters clubs in Liverpool and the surrounding area, apart from yourselves?
In the surrounding area. So we've got a Liverpool Merseyside club. So we've got a few members from there that come and join us for some of the games. And then in the local area, there's a few fans come through from Chester. We've got a few friends. So we've got Graham and the team up in Wigan, who we've got good pals with. And then further on down, as you come down through England, we've got a quite good affiliation with friends in Stoke. So the Stoke-on-Trent Rangers Supporters Club. And we've got a really close tie-in with the Glaswegian Supporters Club as well. So the guys up there have been massive supporters and give us lots of advice and tips. And always sort us out with tickets and stuff when we're up there or abroad. So in the local area, I say with me just running the place as a facility for us to come together, we haven't taken that leap yet of looking to run supporters buses and everything else that comes with it. So it's very much been a case of me and my dad have travelled up on the train. Then if anybody wants to come up with us, more than welcome. We fill cars and do whatever we need to do just to get people up to the game. But the first port of call is to make sure that we provide that facility for people to be able to see the game. Rangers TV this season when we've been able to, in a safe environment, of course, and then whether it's
I think you'll be running a bus this year.
might have the Sky and the BT
I think you
packages or
definitely will
Premier
be.
Sport packages. So we look to make sure that everyone's got somewhere to watch the. It's no, it's great, and we absolutely love it. Not that you need an excuse to love Rangers anymore, but I'm that supporters club and seeing the joy on people's faces when we do deliver. There's nothing better, to be honest.
Excellent. And what about Surrey True Blues? We go to Gordon.
Evening.
What about? I've got a wee question here. What is the name of the club your supporters club runs from?
So we actually meet in a sort of bar/nightclub venue called the Dice Bar, which is located in the High Street in Croydon. Croydon's obviously made the headlines in recent years for not so great reasons, but for us it's actually a very handy venue. Slap bang in the centre, mainline station that runs between central London and down to the coast to Brighton and either east or west, whether you want to go to Eastbourne, whether you want to go to Bognor Regis, Portsmouth. So much so we've got people who come from as far as Bedfordshire, come right down all the way across the other side of London to come to the club. Get guys that come all the way up from the south coast down in New Haven. So yeah, get a good reach.
Well, Gordon, I've just got to say there, it definitely wasn't a trendy nightclub. The 2 year me and Charlie were done with the Rangers Legends. We went to the was that a cricket club or a rugby club?
Aye, so that was
Or a rugby club. Oh my!
So that was obviously
mental.
2 Legends games, wasn't it? 2 Chelsea Legends games. We had.
Sutton.
So that was obviously our location was a bit too far out from the Sutton United Gander Green Lane. So taking over the rugby club, being able to host such big events, fantastic turnout of about 800 people each one, and ended up raising, over the past few years with those couple of events, we raised about $5,000 for charity. So yeah,
Excellent.
really, really successful. We couldn't have any more Legends games in recent times, but they'll come.
Yeah, we're thinking about a few in the pipeline anyway, Gordy, so we've all been in contact with you.
To be fair, Gordon, Croydon's a nice part of the country. I went and visited Big Craig Moore. He was staying there when he was at Palace. So he was. So I went into Croydon a few times. It was nice. Oh, parts of it.
That must have been a long time ago.
It was probably about 20 years ago, right enough. And I was at Watford.
Well, the bit we went to, Charlie, if you remember that, I was sharing a room with Durante, and he was up early and getting showered. Mum will
It was
go
one
walk.
single bed as well.
And we got up in the morning and we had a bit of breakfast. He said, "We'll go a walk," and the weather was great. It was absolutely
beautiful.
stunning. So we had a wee walk into Sutton itself, into the main street and that, and there were a couple of Witherspoons there. And he said, "I wonder if that's open in there for a beer now."
That was at 11 o'clock in the morning, by the way.
No, it was 9.
Was it 9?
Nine,
On
aye.
Saturday morning.
That
It was
a
on it
Saturday
before the
morning.
game.
Aye. So we two ended up
None of your
getting a
Scottish
pint.
life
So obviously we're no playing, so we were sitting out in the sun enjoying a pint, and the next thing Charlie's went by. All right, what you's up to? So he's in the company, and obviously the goalie appeared with the most maddest gear he'll ever wear in
camouflage
life, he
gear.
did.
Oh God.
And then Big Albert sends up there, didn't he? And then Dukey comes. And then the next thing, the full squad's there, and we're all having a few beers. And the next thing we're like, "Oh, we've got a game in half an hour. We better go and get the bus." But brilliant. It's nice about that.
It was a nice
here,
place. It was. That's when Durante was killing the goalie.
Oh,
honestly,
brilliant.
a big camouflage gear. Big George Alberts was sitting next to him in the bus, and George was talking to the goalie, and Durante shouting at the back of the bus, "George, who are you speaking to? There's nobody even sitting next to you." And the goalie's just turning around, "Shut it, Jasper! Shut it, Jasper!" Raging.
He wasn't too happy, and then he shouted to him, "Oh, goalie, do you just get into the dentist and pick the first 3 teeth that's there, right?"
starting with a big molar for his size.
But no, I've enjoyed it down there, and definitely I think we'll get another game down after all this pandemic's by way down in London. But I mean, even even the one we done we played Liverpool at Blackpool. We're thinking about doing that next year again. That was brilliant. That was a great weekend. That.
What about John and Forteventura getting the boys there for a game?
There you go.
All right, John, what about that?
No problem. Anything you want.
Well, by the way, we're
Next week sounds great.
aye, we weren't that far away from the last time we were here, Charlie.
No,
Maybe
really.
we went out to see
Blanco.
Big Nizzy, myself and Charlie and Graham Roberts and Mark Falco. And the goalie.
Goalie again.
We had a great week there.
A weekend.
We were supposed to come over
4
for
or 5
that
days.
weekend.
That was great, John.
I've seen Andy over in Lanzarote in the Bluebells. I went to one of his speaker nights. It was a good night. Usual madness. We've had a speaker night in the pub in 2016 actually with Colin Steen and Willie Johnston. It was a good night.
They two are brilliant.
We started the Rangers Club actually in the pub in 2019. So we've really been in March 2019. So we've really only been going a year since before we got locked down, and we've got 50 members and 4 junior members, which 3 of them's my kids. But we've raised £1,000 last year for Erskine Hospital, and we give local charities in Forteventura 1,750 as well. So we've done a wee bit fundraising, selling tops and that. So, and Erskine Hospital got a wee bit of it as well.
I'll tell you, John, see, just when you're saying that there, I mean, this is what, about 4 shows we've done, Lindsay?
I think
That'd
this is
be
only
fourth or fifth
show.
And every Rangers club that we've spoke to on here, every one of them's raised money for different charities.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. It's great.
It's great how all the clubs are rally together, even if it's their local charities run about, or if it's with the boy on there with the mental health, the last show there, raising money for that, and the guys were doing a bit of running about for their club and raising money for that. And
No, it's very generous, definitely.
it is. It's amazing when you see all these clubs. The first thing that they want to do is raise money for
100%.
different charities. Brilliant.
If any's got any... Oh, sorry, on you go.
The fans have been great, supporting everything that we do. So without the fans, you can't do anything. So they make it all work.
Yeah,
Definitely. So I was just going to ask any is at all can answer just if you've got any plans for the new season, and will any of your clubs be travelling up for some games?
So I mean, sorry, True Blues, we're hoping to have. Oh, sorry, John.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
All right. So we're hoping to have something for an end of season bash. Obviously, the restrictions down here, the 21st of June is when everything's supposed to be relaxed, obviously in the middle of the Euros. But we're hoping that maybe the night that England plays Scotland, we'll just take over the venue as normal in a safe fashion and have some kind of hurrah. And then obviously in the build up to pre-season, we'll maybe try and have something special going. Can't really plan too far ahead.
We spoke to the boys for the Green Man. They were on 2 weeks ago, and they've got the boat trip, which I'm going to be heading down to. Have you been to that before? It sounds really good. I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Is
it good?
Do you know what, Stan? It's absolutely brilliant. Going up and down the Thames on a cruiser with all your bears, just having a good time, sing songs, sun beating in the sky, watching the sights up close. Honestly, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, I think when we'd done it 2 years ago, I think we had to stop about 3 or 4 times for reloading the bar because we were just drinking them so quick they couldn't keep up.
Is that how well? that sounds good to me, Charlie, doesn't it?
Surprise there.
But no, I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm saying that to the boys here to come down for the first time there That definitely sounds appealing, Lindsay. Again, doing in.
Oh, that sounds like the bee's knees to me.
Aye, definitely.
A wee booze cruise.
Also, I know, I was saying to the boys, I know I'm down there with Colin Steen, Wally Johnston and Derek Johnston for, I think it's the 60th anniversary, the official London Rangers Supporters Club. And they've got it in St James's Palace, which I've never been to, but it's meant to be absolutely stunning. Down there too. Anyway, brilliant.
You said that. What about Wirral Rangers Sports Club? Have you got anything in the pipeline for
Yes.
next season?
Yeah. So we're similar to the Surrey guys, very much waiting for that 21st of June before we can kind of do anything too informal. So, as I say, we're going to look to get an ex-player down, hopefully do a night. I know a few of us are wandering down to Stoke on the 24th of July to see Charlie, Andy and DJ. They're doing a night down there in end of July, so we're looking forward to that. And then, just playing it by ear, really. Looking forward to the pre-season friendlies and probably arrange them around that in terms of getting people whispers that we could play in a pre-season friendly. Would be quite pleasing given the fact it's only about 3 miles from the house. So having to normally travel, I don't know, the best part of 500 miles a game, it would be good just to travel down the road for that one. But again, we'll just wait and see what the pre-season plan is. But yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Happy days on your doorstep, man.
I know.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. And I know obviously nothing's open for Ventura yet, but are you still thinking about planning ahead and arranging anything for next season? Have you got anything planned?
The club might have a wee question and answer at the end of the year. Might get a couple of players, see if we can get a couple of players over. I've got 3 season tickets for me and the boys, so I think I've seen 2 games in 2 years. So Leachy's done all right out of my season tickets.
He said they were his as well. He said he'll endure them. That Leachy's a wide though.
John, what about the tournament I done in Lanzarote? Did you come out for that?
We were going to come over, but something came up that weekend and I couldn't make it. I think one of my staff was sick.
That was a great weekend. I remember more about it, Lindsay, honestly. We got there on the Friday night, didn't we?
I love hearing all these stories.
And
Sorry, I love it.
The tournament was on the Saturday, and we were in the terrace bar, Big Scott Nisbet helps out, and so he picked us up in the minibus and takes us straight to the pub. So and it's a guy, Carl, that's got the pub in it, smashing guy. Paul and Carl's other boy in it, and he says, Stan, listen, you don't pay anything in here, just go up and say Rangers at the bar, and use your drinks all free all night. And I went, happy days. But what he doesn't know is there's about 14 for Blantyre for my pub, all in with their wives and that. So I says, look, just go up and say Blantyre, you'll be all right and you'll get your drink. So I come in the next morning, Carl, everything all right? He said, everything all right? He says, Rangers, he says, he spent €1,400 I think that bar last night. He said, and then what he said was, he said, listen, see the big do on the Saturday night? He says, you'll not be doing that. He says, I'll give you a badge, didn't he? He gave us a thing around the neck and it said Rangers on it. So we had them and we played against our England select. So you take up and show that to get your drink. See, after an hour, I went up to the bar and there were 4 lasses at the bar with one on each, saying, you want a drink? All the players had gave the lasses one.
Oh, their badges.
I still had my badge. I didn't meet anybody.
But you still wouldn't go to the bar and it was free.
Their Stan's nose getting bigger again. Look.
But no, it was great that, John. I'd love you to do that earlier again. That was a great tournament, wasn't it?
It was brilliant because Big Colin Henry was walking home for the pub and Gordon Jury standing at the bus stop, and Colin Henry said to Dukey, "What are you doing standing here?" And I went, "I'm waiting for the bus to Hamilton." He thought he was in the tune. Glasgow's tune. He was standing waiting in the bus to get into Uddingston. Sorry.
We played the tournament, right? So there was. I ended up. I gave up my manager's position to be Gerrani.
He went in the loser team. That's what it was.
I took the England select. Didn't I? I took the England select. We had a good line-up England select. You had Lee Henry, Steph Johnson, Mark Walters played with the England select. Big Colin Henry because he played in the Premier. And Graham Roberts was in goals, wasn't he? Who else did we have? Kerry Dixon.
Kerry Dixon.
Kerry Dixon looked about 90-year-old, and I hadn't met him in the flesh. And this guy turns up to play, and I went, "Oh my God!"
He was a good guy, actually.
He's brand new, brilliant.
They're all good boys, English boys.
But we started the tournament, and it was a local team a youth team, wasn't it?
A local youth team, I think.
Rangers and a Premier League select. And this team pulls up in the minibus, and believe it or not, you wouldn't believe us, we're in having a beer in the pub.
We were watching Motherwell game. It was the Scottish Cup game.
Rangers
we played Motherwell, and we Kenny Mull scored 2 last minute, two late goals for us to win 2-1.
That's right. So we were in having a beer. So I goes outside for a breath of fresh air, and this minibus pulls up. So this youth team jumps out, all young boys, and he comes out with the sunglasses, the manager, and that with the tracksuit on. He's going, go, and they're running and touching and running back, and I went, oh my God, we're playing them next
They
week.
done a warm up for about 40 minutes.
I know,
didn't
and he had them all running, and I went, oh, what's going to happen here? He says, look at they're all fit, we're all having a drink, and the game started against them, didn't it?
I was in goals, and there was a ball bouncing towards me, and Marvin Andrews and one of their players running towards me, and I've no chance was I getting anywhere near that because Marvin would just have trampled me. So I've moved out the way and end up standing in this wee guy's seat.
Oh no!
I'm like, poor boy, big Marvin, honestly, just tramples right through people. I was moving I was out of there, I was in goals, and I'm like, oh, I'm off ski. Big Marvin, and then the team went and picked up our jackets and buggered off.
They didn't play another game. No. And the guy was shouting in Spanish at me. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't nice anyway.
San Miguel.
Never come back. Oh, but John, I wish that would go again. That was brilliant. The only downside was my future son-in-law. They 3 of them get lifted out their room, didn't they?
Oh, that's right.
They pay a ransom to get back out. They'll not be allowed to get back out for the next game. But no, great. I hope that goes ahead again, John. That was fantastic.
I'll maybe
Right,
try to
Santa.
organise something with Lanzarote with Kenny and the Bluebells. Try and do it together, maybe.
You even tie in with Big Nizzy and
Terrace
bring
Bar
a
as
couple of
well.
half decent teams there and bring all the boys there again. See, the thing sometimes when you do these Legends games, like say we done Hong Kong 3 years in a row, whatever, and the boys at Hong Kong want Charlie and Vigilante and Coisty and all the boys to go out drinking till 2 in the morning and have a good swally, and then they're expecting the next morning at half 9 to be fresh and
8
ready
o'clock.
Be able to go and play.
to go and play in the tournament. So it's got to even itself out. It's only a bit of fun most of the time. So the boys have got to get a drink with the boys, and then the next day, if they're playing, it's no serious.
We won it 1 year. How we win it, I'll never know. But I get them. They're getting us over. We understand that. But if they want to spend time and what is to win the tournament, it's difficult, especially when there's no wind in Hong Kong, and it is the sun's about an inch away from your face, and you've been drinking for a right few hours or days. It doesn't help. So.
No, it doesn't.
No.
But that's a great trip. It's a fabulous trip.
Oh, no, it's
I
different.
don't know. Stan's never invited me.
No, it's different class. It is, isn't it?
Their Stan was a last minute replacement, I think.
No, I made sure I was there all every time. But no, great. Vigilante took the youth team and I took the boys, and we won it. And I'll never forget that ever.
It was so funny. Bomber was raging because me and Bomber have known the boys who are there for a long time because I was there in '95 and Bomber's been there a few times. So I've known a lot of the guys over there. So we drew the first night, the first night against guys who played with Galatasaray and all that, who were playing for a local club there, Brazilian guys. So they were our guys who brought us over were expecting us just to go and beat these, but you have to remember these guys are international players who played, as I say, Galatasaray and Brazil and things like that. And Bomber was moaning at the side, yeah, come on, get it. I said, not good enough. And then Bomber comes on and goes to run for the ball and pulls his hammy.
Oh, did he? He did not, did he?
He pulled his hamstring. It was hilarious, man.
Oh, no.
And big Lorenzo was brilliant. Lorenzo, I've done a wee diagonal run, and I've shouted for the ball for Lorenzo, and this is an AstroTurf pitch. It's as flat as it get. So I've done a diagonal run to the left, and Lorenzo's went to kick it bottom and kicked it out to the stand, kicked it over the stand on the right hand side, nowhere near me. And he goes, stupid pitch. Bobbles. There's no bobble on the pitch. So that was typical Lorenzo, but brilliant. And then we go for the lunch the last day we're leaving, remember?
Brilliant. I
Lorenzo's saying, like, I order the wine because I'm Italian. I order the wine. And the lad, right, okay, so he orders the wine. The wine bill alone was £1,300. Lorenzo had ordered £25 a glass wine, no £25 a bottle.
He thought it was a bottle.
He thought it was a bottle.
£25 a bottle.
The boy Andy for the sponsors, he goes like and looked at the sheet and he's like, aye.
Big Barry Scott had his Rolex. I've never to put that in the middle. To be fair,
But they treat us good there, right enough.
That was
And it is
amazing.
And the year we beat Ajax,
Stan still get my medal.
I have no.
I didn't get a medal. I don't know how I didn't get a medal.
So I've got my own.
Aye, Stan's got his own, and one he's got one up in his wall as well in his pub. He's still not got a
that was
photo of
George
me.
Albert's.
Still not got a photo of me in his pub either.
I in the toilet.
Disgusting, honestly. I actually put one up and it was in the toilet. That's why I don't go to his pub anymore, because it's rotten tenants as well.
He's in it last week. He's talking rubbish.
Stan, just talking about your pub and everything, right? And we're going to come to you now, right, with a few questions. Right, so your new book,
Yes.
Follow We Will. Rangers fans' stories from all over the world by Stuart Thompson and Stan Gordon, forwarded by John Bomber Brown. Absolutely amazing. Fantastic that you have put this together. You had a really busy weekend in the pub.
We done the book launch on Friday night, and we were quite fortunate. We had Ian Durrant there, Gordon Jury, Derek Johnston,
It must have been a free round then for them one night.
Nacho
If they were
Novo,
all
and the goalie. Well, the goalie had 3 gins in the pint tumbler as normal.
Right.
But, we had them along, and to be fair, you couldn't move in it. We had boys here from Northern Ireland, and in the book, it's got 34 different Rangers fans telling their stories about travelling Rangers with Rangers all over the world. So we had to invite all the contributors there.
Of course,
But
yep.
obviously, because there one for Australia, New Zealand, boy for Holland, there's 2 for Germany, 3 for Northern Ireland. But one of the boys for Northern Ireland came out, big Warren for Sandy Row Rangers. But the rest, obviously, they couldn't travel. But all the rest of the ones, your big Andy Smileys, Robbie Ferguson's, and the wee boy Ross McGill for the Union.
I've seen some of the photos.
And they all come down, and it was a fantastic night. And the book done great. We're starting to get a wee bit of exposure in the papers and all that way.
Yep,
you know,
seen that, the Daily Record. Yeah.
Great. And then Sunday we done the new bar in Uddingston, bar 72.
Was that 72? How's that? How's that
That was
coming
good.
along?
Great. Took Derek
Good.
Johnson along, and Derek was great, signing a few autographs in the books for everybody.
Good.
And I was going to say that to you, Lindsay, if you want to put this limited edition one up on the site with Derek Johnson, and just everybody that wants to share for the night and share the book, we'll do it. The next time we come on, we'll put it up.
Do a wee
We'll
raffle
just-
on
aye.
it then. So if you like and share, we'll do a wee post when we finish. When we'll do a wee Facebook post the night when we finish, and if you like the post, share it, and probably like tag somebody in it, and then we'll do a live raffle then in 2
Brilliant.
weeks' time,
Magic.
and we'll raffle off the limited edition book.
Aye.
Excellent.
But,
That's very
even
kind of you.
The contributors that were involved in the stories, some of the stories are amazing. I've got my dad in it, and Nacho's done a wee bit at the back there, so he came along on the night and all, which was great. He's put a wee story in about how much he loves the Rangers fans, and it was great. It was good.
Good.
And up to now, most of the Rangers bars round about the area have all took books, and they're going to stock them in their bar and sell them. So that's
Excellent.
what it's all about.
So if you get any other, and obviously you had your main book launch there at the weekend, have you any other ones coming up?
Yes, I'm going to the Red Lion in Berwick on Tweed on Saturday. If anybody's want to come along, there's tickets available. And Charlie's going to come down. So me and Charlie are going to do a wee Q&A for an hour. And then Charlie will sign some of the books for us. So we'll have the books on sale down there. We'll be leaving them down there. And I've never been to the Red Lion pub. But it's a good Rangers pub as far as I know. Have you been, Charlie?
No, I've not been. I don't know.
So looking forward to getting down. We'll be doing early bells, a couple of beers, get the books set up, and then we'll have the wee Q&A, and we've got a singer on and all. I tried to
Excellent.
get yourself that night anyway, didn't you? But you,
I know, well, I don't understand, like, it's just the restrictions now. I don't know what's allowed in Scotland and what's not. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
I own a pub and I don't know.
Honestly, I'm so confused with it all
Yeah.
now.
Well, you were down at Blackpool yourself on Saturday and at the Gallen Pioneer. How was that?
Excellent. Absolutely
Aye.
brilliant being back. Honestly, first back in like 9 months, and it was just, you couldn't get me off the stage. John was pleased about that, right enough. So
Oh,
he was pleased about that. But no, it went down really well as far as I'm aware. Everybody seemed to enjoy themselves. They were all dancing in their seats, what you were allowed to do. And their pub was open to 1. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know the difference between like here and there. It's
We're 10:30.
you know, no.
Just I don't know with the boys there, Gordy and Jamie. Are you 10:30 or down there, or is it 1 a.m, or what you allowed?
No, I think we're back to just normal opening hours. So I think we're
So was Blackpool.
we're 12 o'clock. I think at the moment. So so we're not too bad.
So different in England
Yeah,
to here.
same down here. We're 11 o'clock midnight, depending on the venue.
So different.
Yeah.
Because even in Blackpool and that, you were just seeing signs everywhere like be responsible, wear your mask, wash your hands, just like basically putting it into, you know, you're responsible for your own well-being basically, so just to be careful. Whereas here I just still don't know what's what.
I know it's strange.
No, I'm the same. But as I say, we've got that there, and everybody's welcome to come down to the Red Lion on Saturday and listen to Charlie telling a few stories about his career. Plus, we're doing in Blackpool on the 12th, Charlie. Me and you and Stuart McCall's in the Gallant Pioneer in the 12th.
And myself.
And you're doing yourself,
Yep,
Lindsay.
so the 12th of June that is, yep.
And the week before, I'm doing with
Ian Durant
and Derek Ferguson. So, I mean, Blackpool, I was talking to John actually yesterday, and he says he's just getting phone calls for Rangers buses every week wanting to come down, because I think everybody's just, it's that want to get away shot. And
Everybody's fed up now.
aye. And if you get the weather, you can't beat it. What's the beer garden like that he's opened?
Oh, it's out of this world, honestly. You wouldn't believe it. It's not like what I imagined. I imagined it to be like on the roof where you'd maybe have to climb upstairs to go to it, but you just go into the sports bar area. So you go through the wee corridor into the sports bar, and they've got these French doors, and you just open the French doors, and then you just go down these wee stairs, and you've got all this blue grass, like royal blue, and the pictures don't, like I took photos and it doesn't even do it justice, because it's actually got like a sheen off it, like a sparkle. So as soon as you walk down there, and they've got the you know, like the tables and the wooden umbrellas and everything. Oh, it's honestly, it's one of the nicest rooftop terraces I've ever seen. It's lovely.
Brilliant.
Really good. They've done well.
Brilliant, and it opens it up a wee bit more for them, because I know when we done the game in Fleetwood in Blackpool, you couldn't get moving.
No,
it was mental.
Then,
so if that's opened up more people, it's great.
It is, definitely.
Even I know before the lockdown, well, it was the lockdown actually, but we were allowed down south. I was staying in the Mornington across the road for one of the games, and John phoned me early. I think it was a 12 o'clock kick-off or something, and he phoned me at the digs about 9:30. He says, look out the window, and I'm not kidding, they were queued right down and round the corner. He says, come here and I'll get you in the now before it gets any worse, you know. So
well, both sides were full, so you had the side I was in, and then you walked through the wee corridor and you had your sports bar, and then that was full as well, and they had a karaoke on, so people that were in the main end were in the karaoke end, and then when people started to leave in the main end, they would just come through and get a table. So it was good. There was lots of room and it was really busy. So it was. But that was one of the questions I was going to ask you as well, about your book. Are you going to be stocking these in any other Rangers bars at all?
Got them in my own bar, the Stonefield Tavern. You can pick them up in there. I've got them behind the bar, and they're in the Lounge 72 in Uddingston also. And Craig Houston for the Sons of Struth came and picked up a box of books off me yesterday. So he's going to have them in his shop in Paisley Road West.
Good.
And then we're going to have them in Oswald's, and the Bristol Bar's going to take them, and Blackpool, the Gallant Pioneer. So if any of the boys are needing any centre when you get busy again, give us a wee shout and I'll get them done, and we'll be donating some to any charities you want if it sells so many books. So
excellent.
Picking up.
That's brilliant. Right, Stan, I know you want to do a wee kind of Q&A with Charlie here, so...
Aye, well, Charlie boy, I don't know how many times I've asked you these questions.
No, I know.
What age were you when you joined Glasgow Rangers? When you were a kid, what age were you?
11-year-old. I was 11-year-old when I signed this for him. That was many moons ago, 34 years ago.
And who was the manager then?
Walter. Oh no, Souness was the manager then.
So you came when Souness was there?
Souness was the manager then. And obviously when I made my debut, Walter was obviously the manager, because Souness had just kind of left about a year before. So
did you ever take any day with the boys, Souness, when he was here? Did they come and watch you
see,
play?
fair, you didn't see much of Souness at all. It's more Walter you seen. going to watch your kids, and then obviously more of the first team coaches or whatever. Billy Kirkwood did a big. He would want to go and watch a lot of the kids' games and things like that. But it was mainly obviously just the youth coaches that would be there.
Who was a big influence in you coming through then? Who kind of?
Oh, John Chalmers. He's a sad. The wee man passed away a few years ago. John Chalmers was Alistair Stevenson, Ewan Chester, all these people. But obviously Billy Marshall and Archie Laurie. Between these two, I went into Rangers. It was Billy Marshall and Archie Laurie who took me in. They were the scouts, and then obviously I had coaches like said we John Chalmers, Alistair Stevenson. Paul Hamilton was there, Lindsay Hamilton's brother. He was a good guy, Paul. There's a lot of coaches actually. Joe Miller was one of the scouts for Early United.
I know Joe.
Good guy, Joe. I'm trying to think anymore.
So what about my big pal, big Bomber? Did you have much to do with Bomber coming through into the reserves and that at the time?
Because Bomber was still playing. I played with Bomber.
So he was.
I played with Bomber. So
just when you talk to a lot of the players, they say that Bomber was the old school coach. That he kind of put a wee bit of fear into people and that.
Bomber was old, but Bomber, it was old school with his shouting and that. But it was. I had a few thoughts when he became a coach. It was difficult being a player with him and then him being the coach. But I still got him well with me this day. But obviously, I was brought through with more with Billy Kirkwood and John McGregor. John McGregor liked to shout as well.
He was a wee bit.
Two of them, Billy Kirkwood and John McGregor, were massive influences for me as well. They let me go and play, and they were great guys. And obviously David Dodds as well. I love David Dodds. He was a great guy. But they were great times. Obviously, the apprenticeship for me is obviously it's not the best. It's best when you get into the first team, but I'll never forget the 2 or 3 years apprenticeships and then just becoming a pro. It's great days because obviously you're learning your upbringing, and had some great pals, and I'm actually going to meet Neil Caldwell and Derek Ray, Alex's younger brother, and a boy Paul Patterson who we played with. He's a Polish, and I'd never seen him for maybe 20 years. Then I seen him up at Play Sport in his Polish motor. And then I was walking down Burnside with my dog, and I seen him again like 2 days later. I'd never seen him for, so we end up obviously swapping numbers, and so the 4 years ago I get together and get a wee game of golf. Right. So it's been a long time coming, but you obviously lose touch when guys go separate ways, and but we had some great times in the apprenticeships.
You went on to make your debut, and it was underwater, I take it, and how good was that young boy getting into? I mean, look at the team there when you made your debut.
To be fair, it was a shock for me because somebody always went with the team to go and help with hampers, help with Jimmy Bell with hampers. It wasn't a shock that I played because I was doing well for the reserves and I was scoring goals, whatever, I was creating goals. But I actually got up to the Ski and Do Hotel in Aberdeen. That's where we stayed, and I was at the Stadium Elladors with Jimmy putting out the strips and that, and then I came back. We were came back for lunch. And I had no idea at all, that I was going to be playing. And Walter named the team. So he went McCall, whatever, then Miller and Haitley. And I'm looking around for another Miller. And I'm going, I'm the only Miller in here. So the pants joined the Brownies a wee bit at that point. Because I wasn't expecting it. I think if I was expecting it, I'd have been a lot more calmer. But just getting hot with it there, I was just like, oh, wow.
You don't think that was maybe better, though? Just
no, because either way, it didn't make a difference. But I think it would have been if I knew, because I'd have been prepared for it. If you know what I mean, I wasn't prepared for it because I wasn't expecting to be involved at all. So as I thought, I was just up there to put the strips out and help with hampers. But it was a good day. Obviously, we lost. It wasn't good, but I get 30 grand for that day, so it was happy days. I think I was the highest paid player in Scotland for that one day.
Because that put your money up, didn't it, when you made your debut and your bonus thing?
I got agreed when we signed the contract that if I made my debut, I get 30 grand. I could have went and signed for other clubs where I was getting money up front. But I thought, at the time, Rangers obviously were one of the biggest teams, and they still are one of the biggest teams in Britain. But then they were doing well in Europe and things like that, and obviously the Champions League they were doing really well in. And I thought if I make that team, then I'll do okay. It's a hard team to get into. If I don't break into that team, then I would obviously fall back. But they wouldn't be miles down. It would be a decent level, hopefully. But I I'd been offered to go to England for X hundred thousands and things like that, and I thought, no, I'll get a go here because there's some international players you want to play with, some of the superstars, and they were amazing to play with. Obviously, they weren't amazing in training because everybody's there everybody wants to play. So they played the way they trained. They trained the way they played. But it was a great upbringing for me because I'd played reserve football anyway. So as the kids don't play so much reserve football now, or I don't play it at all. So I went for 16 to playing reserve football, playing my kids at 16 against my own age group, and then playing reserve football, and then with Reserve League West as well, playing against Stenhouse Muirs and teams like that. And it was strong men you were playing against, and then, as I said, the Premier Reserve League, it was lots of great players. I played with players like B. John Spencer, Brian Reid, Gary McSwiggan.
Gary, that was who.
All
Gary
like his
McSwiggan, I remember him. Aye,
Swiggy, great
that
guy.
name.
I still see Swiggy now and again, but I was just playing with some of these guys who were in the very close to the first team, and then obviously like Durante and Duncan Ferguson, people like Durante coming back from injury or whatever. So it was great for me, and I'm playing against other pros who were coming back from injury or wanted to get in the game in the first team. So it was a great upbringing for me, that, because I had to learn early doors that, well, you have to be a man here, son. So it's time for you. You grow up here.
I was quite nervous when I heard, like, when Stan says you were coming on the show. So I'm maybe wanting Google, trying to get everything that I could learn about you. No, honestly, like when I was reading it, I didn't obviously know all about you and stuff, but when I was reading it and I'm saying, providing the cross, bring Laudrup to score a championship clinching goal in the latter, I was just like, and then Stan sent me these, and I was already trying to be prepared.
Yeah, of course.
Then, to see what I was going to ask you. But I was so glad when you said I'll do the Q&A with Shirley, because I was quite nervous.
Obviously, you're saying about the Laudrup cross. That was just a surreal night. It was amazing. It was just been part of it. Just been a small part of that 9 in a row team. No one can ever take that away from me.
No, never.
That was the night we won 9 in a row. Across the ball, obviously, for Laudrup. But Andy Gorham's he was injured and with Andy Dibble in goals, and Andy Dibble's a great lad. But the goalie was sitting in Belfast because the game wasn't on television then. It was only on the radio.
Right.
So Andy Gorham's listening to the radio in Belfast, and he's saying Charlie Muller with a left foot cross, and Brian Laudrup, he couldn't believe it. Before they got it rang, he thought it was supposed to be Laudrup left foot cross to Mark Haitley he did or something like that. So
it was probably at bond practice in Belfast that night on the radio.
Some kind of practice anyway. But it was just, and then the night it was just, I was still young and didn't really realise the magnitude of what we'd done. So I thought, this happens every year, this happens all the time, this is just the norm. But I didn't really savour it until I finished and realised what we had done and what I was a part of. And there were great days and that, and just obviously the celebrations afterwards. And then we went to the Swallow Hotel after the game, and we were having a good bevy and that in the hotel. And the Swallow Hotel in Dundee. Then we obviously drove down in the bus down to George Square and along Paisley Road West, and Gazza still get his Rangers kit on. He's hanging out the bus, and it was just great nights.
How was he to play alongside? I mean,
yeah.
I've sat and interviewed Wee Durante and Derek Ferguson. Never get a chance to play beside him, but he played against him.
Yep.
And he says playing against him was just, you just couldn't. He says
he was a phenomenal football player. Obviously, before his knee injury, he was probably the best player in the world at the time. When he came back for his knee injury, it was probably 90% of what he was. He was still an unbelievable football player. He was strong as an ox. He was so talented. But he loaned you the ball. Gaza would give you the ball, then you had to give it back right away when you had 2 men run you. So, but he was a sublime footballer, and he was an even better person. He was a lovely human being.
One of the funny stories I heard of him I thought was brilliant was Jimmy Nicholl was in the dressing room. I don't know if this is true or not, but Jimmy Nicholl said he was in the dressing room, and Gaza comes in. So he's got the fishing waders on, he's got the fishing jacket, he's got the fishing rod, the fishing hat, and the bag round him. And he walks in, and Wee Durante says to him, "Where were you?" And he went, "Where do you think I was? I was fishing." And Wee Durante says, "What for?" He says, "Fish." He says, "I'll tell you what, Durante," he says, "see if you can tell me how many fish are what's in that bag. He says, I'll give you the both of them. And guys, Durant said free.
No, Durante's not that daft. That's made up. Definitely.
Some of we've not got a lot of time to get through, but some of the stories with the things he done, but even the good side of things, Charlie. I know.
It was the best guy.
I know he helped a lot of kids out at Christmas and that the boys down the boot room and all that kind of stuff, and he'd go on.
He was. To be fair, everybody would give the apprentices their Christmas money, but I don't even know. I wouldn't even begin to imagine what Gaza was probably giving them.
Yeah. I mind the story with Gattuso and all. You'd have been there at the time, Charlie, when Gattuso had just come out for Italy, and Gaza actually tell him that he had get money off of Rangers to go and buy him clays. He went away and kitted Gattuso out, and he just done it off his own back.
To be fair, Gaza was good to Reno but bad to Reno. He was saying to Reno, he was telling Reno in Italian that nobody liked him. And me Reno come up and go, what? Because me man's English was very poor. It was really poor. But I still keep in touch with Reno. It's sad news to hear about his sister, but I keep in touch with Reno and Luigi's assistant. He just got the job at Fiorentina, which is great.
Yeah,
obviously left Napoli the other day, but then became Fiorentina manager. He was a nut job. What a great boy Rino Gattuso was.
I think did they not tell him the kid on he was playing the flute and all that kind of stuff?
He said to him when he scored to bless his cell up at the
Rangers end. That's what it was.
The Rangers end, and Laudrup can speak fluent Italian, and Laudrup's like, "Don't you bloody dare!" He's told him not to do it. Gaza was just binding him up, and they'll be like, "Oh, what you doing?" And he said to Laudrup, "What did he say?" He said, "He told me bless his cell up there." And we're like, "Bloody hell, the wee man, poor wee guy, honestly." Bass, it's a plane. The wee guy from Fantasy Island, that's what we used to call him. Is it Tattoo, I think it was?
Aye, well, I could actually only imagine the crack that he's had in the dressing room, because I'd hate the Rangers Legends games be using. Everybody's a character, like you get a laugh out the goalie and me, Durant, and Coisty and yourself. And
I love listening to all the stories.
It used to be, it was myself, McInnes and Craig Moore against the whole dressing room. That's what it was like, because we were the three young ones. And
I'll be honestly, out of them all, if you make eye contact with Ian Durant and he's in one of them moods for slagging you, you've had
that's
it. Because you couldn't even argue back with him. He's good. It's just quick, bang, and you're just as well going like that, right? You've won, and he just done it, and that's you tortured after that.
I actually says to Ricky there before you come in, Charlie, I says, what's he like doing podcasts and that? Is he going to slag me? Remember the last one? I was like, don't give me a red neck on the show. I was like, but I was wondering, he's like, no, Charlie's good.
I'm not like Durant. But just like Durant, he's brilliant, because I was working and I'm driving this forklift, and every time Durant sees me, he goes, all right, me. And every time he sees me, and I'm like, oh, shut up, big ears. But
definitely. He's part of brilliant.
We are kind of coming to the end of the hour. I can't believe it. It's went in so fast. So it has tonight. I just did want to ask each and every one of you as well, just who your Rangers Player of the Year would have been. So come to you first, Dan. Who would you have picked?
Honestly, for the first time ever for a Player of the Year, I think I said that to you the other week there, Charlie. For the first time ever, I'd have given the full team the Player of the Year. Seriously,
they gelled together.
What a belly! Obviously, I was a midfielder. I'm a very lazy one, but I would have went for Stephen Davis, but I have to go for Tavernier, because I've always liked Tav. A lot of people haven't. I've always thought he was better than what a lot of people gave him credit for. So just for his goals and his assists alone, but he's actually grew into the Rangers captain. I think he's been amazing. He just gets it ahead of, for me, Stephen Davis and Goldson, and then Griggsy. But Griggsy was amazing, obviously. The other two guys I just mentioned. But
well, see, there you go. You mentioned about 5 years.
I know,
but I went and named a Player of the Year, though.
But you've got your Player of the Year. Well, it was Davis for me.
I'm going to sit in the fence, because I couldn't pick. I was actually a critic, as you know, Tav, but I had to put my hands up this year. He was absolutely outstanding.
Grew into the role unbelievably. He became a man in that.
I can remember at the start of the season there, he would score, and everybody in the pub would look at me as if they say, there he scored again.
You don't know anything about football though, that's the thing. You've not got a clue about football. You can write in the back of a postage stamp in capital letters what you know about football.
What about yourself, John, Flower of Scotland? Who was your player of the year?
I'm a bit the same as Stan. I couldn't pick. I would say McGregor, Goldson, Tavernier, Ryan Kent, Steve Davis. I couldn't choose between any of them because I thought they were all. I think that was the best season some of them ever had. And Tavernier, I think Tavernier had his best season. Goldson had his best season. Kent had his best season, and McGregor's just McGregor. I thought McGregor was outstanding this year. So I couldn't.
So you're not picking anybody either?
I think it's one of the best Rangers teams I've seen
Sitting in the fence.
for a long time. Definitely.
It's definitely the best we've seen for 10 years.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye, definitely. They've just gelled together. What about yourself and Wirral? Jamie.
He's trying to get to
Yeah,
Duncan Ferguson because he's an Everton fan.
Similar to what the guys have said, I think you could pick anyone. It's quite interesting. Last night we watched we won the awards last night, and saying to my dad, I bet you couldn't go back in the last 30 years and have so many goal of the season contenders as what we've had this year. Some of the goals that were scored were unbelievable. We tried to narrow it down to a top 3,
That's
but
true.
we ended up narrowing it down to a top 10. But in terms of personnel, I think Connor Goldson for me, in terms of to play every minute of every game, and Charlie will know better than anyone what you must have to put your body through to be able to deliver that week in, week out. Must be doing a hell of a lot off the field to make sure and sacrificing a lot to make sure he's in a position to be able to do that. And given what he's been through, I think the guy's been inspirational. So yeah, goals for me.
Yeah, definitely. But he's every minute of every game has been unbelievable. So I take my hat off to him for that. He's come in with some important goals. He's improved as a player. Obviously, the backroom staff, I've got to take a lot of credit for that because they've got them fit. They're strong. They actually look like men, big men now. You see the difference in the boys got right when he came. You're looking at the difference in a lot of the boys for maybe last year or this year. They look strong boys, and they look as if they're doing a lot of weight work and obviously fitness work because they've been as fit as team probably the whole season. And
I know you've said to me that you like Hadji.
Oh, I like Hadji.
I think he'll get better, Charlie.
Well, I hope so.
I definitely do.
I think it's just taking a wee bit of time for him to settle in. He's obviously settled in because he's a very talented footballer. I still think he's got to adapt more to Scottish football because technically he's as good as anyone at the club. And he's got great vision, great awareness, and I hope it'll be a big season for the wee man next season. If he stays, obviously he's been linked with a few clubs.
Yeah, I hope he stays myself.
Obviously, but I believe we're going to have to maybe sell one or two to kind of try and build again for this season. But who that'll be, I have no idea. So.
No, and I think that's been a good thing with Rangers over the last 2 seasons. Before, it was always leaked who we were after and who was going to be sold and that, but it seems to be closed
Well,
now.
it's a closed shop, which is good.
A player just comes in and it's in the paper that day and you don't know, which I think's better, you know what I mean?
100%.
And even there's people only guessing who's going to go.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I think that's a big difference this season.
What about Gordon in Surrey, True Blues? What about yourself, Gordon?
Oh, for me, it's been a tough call as well. I think if Tavernier hadn't get injured and missed out on sort of the last quarter of the season, almost, he would definitely be out and out. But I think for myself, Stephen Davis, I think he's been the glue. He's been the gel with the team. You know, the way he drops back, he'll step up, he'll provide forward. Just Mr. Consistent. That's all you want. You know, consistently high standards.
Very high standards, actually, very high. Aye. And for being 36 or whatever it is, it's a pleasure to watch, and I understand where you're coming from. Obviously, Tav did miss maybe 8 games or whatever, but I just believe his stats were ridiculously good. For a right back, obviously, maybe a right winger now, but Stephen Davis, I wouldn't argue because he's a midfielder, and I get the idea.
Just a wee quick one when you're saying that, Charlie. We were discussing it, and do you think maybe with the young boy Nathan Patterson coming through, he's going to play at least 20 or 30 games for his development in the first team. Do you think maybe Steven Gerrard maybe look at playing him at right back and Tav a wee bit forward?
No.
What does he do then?
Well, Nathan Patterson has to bide his time again. I think he's behind Tavernier. He's our captain. He's done it this year, and obviously Nathan's come in and done well in a few games. I believe he'll be second choice. I don't think they'll sign a right back because we don't need one, unless they think maybe getting Nathan out on loan at a good standard maybe to maybe help his, obviously help him become better and help him get him more game time. But obviously I don't see that happening because obviously he's a backup to Tav, and he wants as good as he can get.
Aye.
And obviously Nathan's no far behind Tav.
Exactly, and I think what you've seen off of him is a wee headache for Steven Gerrard.
No, it's not. It's a good headache, definitely. And seeing Nathan getting put into the Scotland squad it's a great thing for Scottish football, a great thing for Scotland. And now the boy has to go, by the way, I'm not just here to make up the numbers. I'm here to play. I want to play I want to start, and I believe he's got a great chance if he goes and does well, and he does well in training and shows what he's capable of. I don't see why he doesn't start.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just think with the way he finished the season there, Nathan Patterson is a young boy. It's a great talent. We've not seen anybody coming through like that for, I don't know, it's a long time. Maybe Barry Ferguson, maybe when he get back as far as Barry, maybe.
Oh, but obviously we Charlie Adam and Burkey and
well, they were before
Burkey.
They were before Barry, but
no, they were after Barry.
They were Stephen Smith and
Stevie Smith.
But I mean that was a long time ago, Charlie.
No, 100% it was. But we've been in very dark places in the last 10 years, so it's a difficult one. Obviously, we Lewis McLeod getting sold, which was disappointing because he might have been the mainstay in that midfield. Just now, he'd maybe obviously be playing where Steve Davis is playing, and he'd have learnt a lot for Steve, wee Stevie. So, it's been difficult times for a club, but we're back where we belong, and
that's the main thing.
We're producing some kids now, and
definitely, it's all good, isn't it?
Right, guys, we have came to the end of your podcast for this week. Once again, I would like to thank John, Jamie and Gordon for coming on the show, and yourself,
no
Charlie.
problem.
It's been a privilege and a pleasure. I've thoroughly enjoyed your company here tonight and your stories as well. I could have kept listening on and on, but obviously if it comes to that time of night, Ricky will be desperate to get up the road. Listen, guys, thanks very much for watching. Remember, if you're on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe to our show.
Cheers, lads.
Or if you're on any other
boys.
platform, remember to like, comment and share. From myself, Stan and Charlie, a very good night to each and every one of you.
Cheers,
Bye.
guys. Good night.
81 Power Drink. Proud sponsors of Glasgow Rangers Football Club. We are not just an energy drink, we are lifestyle. Take the power. '81 Power Drink. Take the power.